The world is filled with chilling tales of horrible fates, mysterious disappearances, and unexplainable events that defy logic. From vanished explorers to eerie cases of people meeting gruesome ends under bizarre circumstances, these stories continue to baffle and haunt. Delving into them unveils the dark side of human history, where the unknown takes center stage. Case of Stacy Ann Arras. Yosemite National Park is a breathtaking wilderness of towering peaks, serene lakes, and dense forests. But beneath its beauty lies mystery, including the unresolved case of Stacy Ann Arras, a 14-year-old girl who vanished without a trace in the summer of 1981. Her disappearance remains one of the park's most perplexing mysteries, leaving experts and investigators puzzled for over 4 decades. Stacy was born on September 29, 1966, in Saratoga, California. She was the youngest of 4 siblings and was known for her adventurous spirit and love for the outdoors. When she turned 14, Stacy and her father George planned a memorable adventure together, a multi-day horseback trek along the High Sierra Camp Loop. This 49-mile trail winds through Yosemite's rugged and remote backcountry, offering some of the park's most stunning views. The trip began smoothly. Stacy, George, and a small group of fellow campers, guided by experienced riders, traveled on horseback, stopping at designated campsites each evening. On July 17, 1981, the group arrived at Tuolumne Meadows, their planned stop for the night. After a long day of riding, most of the campers were ready to rest, but Stacy, full of energy, decided to explore Sunrise Lake, a short hike from their campsite. Her father, feeling tired, decided to stay behind. An elderly member of the group, 77-year-old Gerald Stewart, offered to join her for part of the walk. Stacy and Gerald set off together, but Gerald soon grew tired and returned to camp, leaving Stacy to continue alone. Witnesses saw her walking down the trail, carrying her camera and heading toward the lake. It seemed like a safe, ordinary hike, until she failed to return. As the hours passed, her father grew worried. He and Gerald began asking other campers if they had seen her, but no one had. By nightfall, the concern turned to panic. A search party quickly formed, with campers scouring the trail and calling Stacy's name. Whistles echoed through the forest, but there was no response. The following day, the National Park Service joined the effort, launching a massive search operation. Helicopters scanned the area from above, scent-tracking dogs combed the ground, and over 150 volunteers, many of them seasoned mountain rescue personnel, covered a 5-square-mile radius around the campsite and Sunrise Lake. Despite their efforts, the only clue they uncovered was a camera lens believed to belong to Stacy. There were no signs of a struggle, no footprints leading further into the wilderness, and no evidence of an animal attack. Theories began to emerge. Some speculated that Stacy might have fallen into a hidden crevice or become disoriented, wandering deeper into the wilderness. Others considered the possibility of an animal attack, but experts found no blood, torn clothing, or disturbed terrain to support this idea. Yosemite is home to black bears and mountain lions, but incidents involving attacks on humans are rare. The idea of abduction was also explored, though it seemed unlikely in such a remote area with few visitors. As days turned into weeks, hope of finding Stacy alive began to fade. After 12 days of searching, the official operation was called off. Rescuers believed her remains might be discovered during the spring thaw, but no new evidence ever surfaced. Over the years, rumors of sightings in states like Oregon, Nevada, and Colorado reached investigators, but none led to any breakthroughs. Stacy's disappearance remains a chilling reminder of how unpredictable and unforgiving nature can be. Even experienced search and rescue teams admit that sound behaves unpredictably in the wilderness, which could explain why Stacy didn't respond to shouts and whistles if she was nearby during the initial search. Her case has drawn attention from researchers and independent investigators, including David Paulides of Missing 411 fame, who filed Freedom of Information Act requests to obtain more details. However, much of the information remains unavailable, adding another layer of mystery to the story. For Stacy's family, the pain of her loss has been compounded by the lack of closure. Decades later, the questions remain. Did she suffer a tragic accident? Was she the victim of an animal encounter? Or did something more sinister occur? Whatever the truth may be, Stacy's story serves as a haunting reminder to always exercise caution in the wilderness and to cherish the moments spent with loved ones. If you're venturing into remote areas, always prepare for the unexpected, travel in groups, and leave detailed plans behind. Most importantly, if you ever feel lost, stay put. Help will come. Stacy's disappearance is a sobering example of how even a seemingly simple hike can take a devastating turn. As chilling as the disappearance of Stacy and Arras is, it's only the beginning. The world is full of stories that defy explanation. Stories that leave us questioning what we know about safety, human behavior, and the thin veil between the mundane and the mysterious. In the next segment, we'll unravel another perplexing case, the bizarre and unsettling fate of Joshua Vernon Maddox. His story is as haunting as it is puzzling, taking us deep into the heart of an enigma that challenges logic. Stay with us as we dive into yet another tale that blurs the lines between the ordinary and the unexplainable. Case of Joshua Vernon Maddox, Woodland Park, Colorado, is a small, picturesque town surrounded by the vast expanse of Pike National Forest. With its serene landscapes and tight-knit community, it's the kind of place where people know their neighbours and life feels simple. But in 2008, the peaceful facade of this town was shattered by a mystery that would leave residents baffled and a family heartbroken. Joshua Vernon Maddox, born on March 9, 1990, was an 18-year-old with a bright smile and an easygoing personality. He was tall, lanky, and loved by nearly everyone who knew him. A talented musician with a knack for humour, Josh appeared carefree and full of potential. But underneath, he carried the weight of grief. 2 years earlier, his older brother Zachary had tragically died, a loss that deeply affected Josh and his family. Despite this, Josh seemed to find solace in music, creativity, and long walks in the woods, a personal ritual he often used to clear his mind. On May 8, 2008, Josh left his home and told his sister Kate that he was heading out for one of his usual walks. It was nothing out of the ordinary for him, and his family didn't think twice about it. But when Josh didn't return by sundown, they assumed he might have decided to camp overnight or visit a friend. As more days passed without any sign of him, their worry deepened. On May 13th, Josh's father reported him missing. Search efforts were launched, but there were no leads. The Woodland Park police faced criticism for their apparent lack of urgency. But legally, Josh was an adult, and there was no evidence of foul play. His family clung to hope, imagining that he might have simply decided to start fresh somewhere, perhaps travelling or joining a band. Despite their optimism, the days turned into weeks, then months, and eventually years, with no trace of Josh. His case grew cold. 7 years later, in 2015, an unexpected discovery brought the case back to life. Chuck Murphy, a longtime resident of Woodland Park, owned a rundown cabin less than a mile from the Maddox home. Once a lively spot, the cabin had been unused for years and was slated for demolition to make way for new homes. As a demolition crew began tearing down the structure, they stumbled upon a horrifying sight. Inside the chimney was a body, mummified and contorted in a fetal position. It was later identified as Josh Maddox. The discovery shocked everyone, but it raised more questions than it answered. Josh was found headfirst in the chimney, wearing only a thermal shirt. The rest of his clothes were discovered inside the cabin, neatly folded by the fireplace. The coroner concluded that Josh likely died of hypothermia or dehydration after becoming trapped. His death was officially ruled accidental, but the circumstances were deeply unsettling. Chuck Murphy claimed that he had installed a heavy-duty rebar grate over the chimney years earlier to prevent animals from getting in. By the time Josh's body was discovered, the grate was gone. There was also the matter of the cabin's interior. A breakfast bar had been torn loose and placed against the fireplace, blocking the chimney from the inside. If Josh had entered the chimney from the roof, who moved the bar? And why? The peculiar details didn't end there. Josh's body was positioned in a way that suggested he had entered the chimney head first, but it's unclear why he would have done so. Adding to the mystery, his hips were dislocated, a detail that some found inconsistent with the idea of him getting stuck accidentally. The folded clothes near the fireplace raised further suspicions. Had Josh entered the cabin before his death, or had someone else placed the clothes there? As investigators probed deeper, rumours began to surface, linking Josh to a man named Andrew Richard Newman. Newman, a once friendly local musician, had crossed paths with Josh after high school. Over the years, Newman had gained a reputation for violence and was involved in a series of disturbing crimes across multiple states. In one incident, he claimed responsibility for a woman's murder, saying he had stuffed her body into a barrel. However, police were unable to link him directly to Josh's death. At the time Josh's body was discovered, Newman was serving time in a Texas prison. Despite the theories and unanswered questions, Josh's death remains officially classified as accidental. His family, though devastated, has found some closure in knowing what happened to him. But for many, the mystery lingers. Why did Josh end up in that chimney? Was it truly an accident, or was there something more sinister at play? Even now, the story of Joshua Maddox haunts Woodland Park. It's a reminder that even in the most idyllic places, secrets can hide in plain sight, and some questions may never find answers. The cases of Stacy Arras and Joshua Vernon Maddox remain haunting mysteries, shrouded in unanswered questions and eerie circumstances. Both stories highlight the fragility of life and the unexpected dangers that can arise, even in seemingly safe or familiar environments. They act as poignant reminders of the importance of caution, preparedness, and vigilance in both wilderness and urban settings. Above all, they leave a lasting impact on the families and communities searching for closure and understanding. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more from Horrendous Horror.